You noticed Timothy Onwatwegu.
Yes, I did.
They came in. What happened that night?
It is the story of a night that is still a nightmare in my head. So they came in, a bunch of soldiers with guns, Major Onwatwegu with them. They were talking to my father. As a 6-year-old, of course, I had no idea what they were talking about. History puts it that they were asking him for the keys to the armory, since he was the commander of the 1st Division of the Nigerian Army. I guess the armory came under his garrison. They marched him out of the bedroom for a bit. I noticed my mother was talking and she was frantic. They marched him back. At a point, I noticed my father pulled the bedside drawer by the bed, because I was like, at that point, I had rolled over to the edge to be able to see what was going on. History has it that he wanted to bring out his service pistol, rifle, whatever it's called. And the next thing I know, they cock their guns. My mother jumps in front of him with her arms, spread out, like to protect him. And they rain the bullets. They rain the bullets. Blood everywhere. My mother was pregnant. It was more like they killed 3 people. Blood everywhere. Yeah. All over the floor, all over the walls.
We are talking about the January 15th, 1966 coup. This is the daughter of Brigadier Ademulegun, who was killed in that coup. You stood there watching.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
You saw Timothy Onwatwegu.
Yes, I did.
You knew him before that night.
Yes, I did.
He used to come to the house.
Yes, he did.
To do what?
Well, of course, my father was his commander. He would come. The army was one big happy family. At least up to that point, before that point. He would come. Sometimes they'd have lunch with us. I remember the dining room. The address was 1 Kashim Ibrahim, Street Road, Crescent in Kaduna. And it was the official quarters. And he was a regular visitor. Whether official or unofficial, he was uncle.
Kaduna Zogu was also a visitor.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Kaduna was like the epicenter of that coup.
So history says.
Your mom jumped in between the gunmen and your dad.
Yes, she did.
You can still picture her?
Yes, I can. She was in a nightie. She was pregnant. It was a loose gown, I think pink. And she stood there. Maybe she felt they would show some pity. I'm a woman. They would show some pity. They know me. They've come here. I've probably cooked for them before. Maybe she felt, because I'm pregnant, they would, whatever it was that she felt or was going on in her head, I don't know. But she stood there.
And you didn't feel pity for her?
No, absolutely not.
Did you tell her to give way and she refused?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
You think it was love?
It had to have been love. It had to have been. Because a woman has children, she has a husband, and at that moment, she's not thinking of her children. She wants to protect the one she loves. Yes, it had to have been love.
Is that good love?
I don't know. If the event were to repeat itself, or if I were to have been in her shoes, I don't know if I would have done that.
Would you have done that?
I don't know. But at a point like that, Maybe the brain is not functioning well. Maybe one is not thinking straight. Maybe at that point, all she was thinking was, you can't kill this man. You know what I mean? You can't kill this man. He's the love of my life. You can't kill this man. He's the father of my children. You can't kill this man. He's the father of, my father had 6 of us. I don't know. But I guess in that kind of situation, I don't think one's brain will function well.
Your father was one of the toppest of the military officers of the time.
So I hear.
After Bassi Ironsi, he was number 3.
Yes. Brigadier Bassi, by the way, was my godfather. And I had a wonderful relationship with him, and I still have with his children. And a year or 2 before he passed on, I went to cover an assignment in Akwa Ibom State, Uyo, where he lived after retirement, and he had become, pretty old. I went there. Oh, I'm so glad I did. He was so happy to see me. And I was so glad that I saw him at least that one last time, because about a year or so later, I heard that he died. Yeah, he was pretty close to Brigadier Bassi.
After the coup struck, you were left there crying.
Yes. Yes.
And you were taken out of the house with your brother.
Yes. I had an older brother who was on holidays from school, who was there, but he was not in that room. He was in his room across the landing, the other side of the staircase. He had heard the gunshots. His name is Bankole. We lost him about a year ago. I miss him so much. Anyways, he had heard the gunshots and he peeped. He knew he couldn't go in, by 6, 7, 8 soldiers. I don't remember the number. So he went back to his room. So when they had finished, their deed, he came in and took my younger brother and I through the night, through the dark, into the boys' quarters until help came.
Your younger brother was 4 at the time?
Yes. Yes.
Help came?
Yes.
What kind of help?
Well, I think it was Mrs. Ironsi, actually, who came to collect us the next morning from the boys' quarters. And then we were taken to an orphanage in Kaduna, Queen Amina Orphanage, which was run by the Catholic missionaries. I think it was Mrs. Ironsi.
Have you asked yourself how they gained entrance into the house? That was the top brigadier in the north.
And we had guards at the gates.
Have you reflected on that?
Yeah. Maybe that's what they call compromise, right? Or the guards were other ranks. Corporals, lance corporals, and so on. The people who came, the guy who led the team was a major. Would he say to them, open the gate, and they won't? No, they will.
You also saw Saudana of Sokoto Ahmadu Bello while growing up?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, I would go with my dad. I remember in the Sadauna's palace, we would sit on the floor. And it was really something different, and it was nice. And that's where I learned to eat masa. I think it was, my mom was Muslim. So, sometimes during the fasting period, would go visit the Sadauna. Yes, I knew him.
Can you still remember his personality?
No. I know he used to wear white a lot. He used to cover his head. And even when he wore shoes, it was white. Really nice man.
What was the compound like?
Very large. We would first drive in, like half a kilometer, a whole kilometer, and then another gate, and then in again. Yeah, it was very big.
You talked about people around the Saudana. You mentioned the Marjories.
Oh, yeah. I said there's a long drive in.
Yeah.
So we would find people sitting around there like beggars, people praying, So left and right, there'd be people sitting as we drove in. He used to feed them. He was a kind man. He used to feed them.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
That's the brigadier's daughter. The interview continues after this break. Stay tuned.
Splash FM 105.5.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Sure, babe, welcome. Where you for see the food stuff you carry enter house?
Now the latest millionaire the photo talk.
Millionaire? How? How you take up yummy?
Now play and win. Yes, so now every day 5 people go they win 25,000 naira. 3 people go win 50,000 naira. 2 people go win 100,000